Hi, I'm Tim Ford. Welcome to the Hay Matters podcast, where the Feed Central and LocalAg team unpack the very best of what's happening in Australia's fodder industry. From planting through to baling, testing and feeding, we cover the characters and the information that matters most to everyone in the supply chain.
Hi, it's Steve Page here again from Feed Central, doing another podcast, and this morning I'm out visiting Anthony Exton in that Coolamon region. And Anthony, good morning, and lovely to catch up with you again. I've been out here for a number of years, catching up with and seeing what you do here. Can you just fill us in a little bit on your property, what you do, what you grow, and what your main products are?
So we're mixed farming. We farm about 6,500 acres. We have our canola, wheat, barley rotations. Also, we have our hay crops and a few cattle. So we also do a lot of straw into Sydney. So we're baling a lot of produce every year, and marketing the hay and all that sort of things
And on your straw into Sydney, is that for the mushroom people?
Yeah, that's mushrooms. We've done that for now 15 years. Yeah, so.
And that works well for you?
Yeah, it does. Every little bit counts with farming, so every little bit of income you can get helps.
And can you tell us roughly what's your breakup on your grain to your to the actual hay side of things and your livestock? What proportion of business to each one?
Well, we used to run our rotation in thirds, so we'd have a third to pulses, a third to wheat, and a third to barley. With the price of fertiliser and stuff like that, we've cut our canola portion back, and we've gone to a pea crop and that sort of stuff. Probably our hay side of things, we only run, it's probably it wouldn't be a quarter, it'd be an eighth we'd probably have of hay, and that's just rotational. We take out part of the pulse and we'll put in a hay crop because we use a vetch and those sorts of, and it's used as a break crop as well.
Yeah, and we were talking there earlier on, you don't do a pure vetch, you do a vetch oats or vetch cereal combination. And can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yep. So I've seen pure vetch crops and they fall over on the ground and you have trouble curing. So we sow probably 10 kilos of oats with about 30 kilos of vetch. And the oats just helps hold the vetch up. And then when you come to cutting the hay, it just provides a bit more elevation and holds the vetch so that the air can get through to help with the curing. And a lot of our curing time with the massy mower conditioner, 4 days, 5 days, and it's ready to bale.
And what row spacings are you doing that on?
So we're at 9-inch.
And what type of planter? What have you got? Is it a tine or is it a disc?
Yeah, so it's just an old flexi coil, with tines, press wheels.
And that's been working well for you?
Yeah, keep it simple. Yeah. I've tried different ways and different things, and we've got a little bit of stony country, and if we keep it simple, there's less maintenance, and it just works.
And do you, once you've planted your hay crops, do you then roll it to help with that stone issue, or what do you do there?
Generally no, but we have rock pickers, and the country's very clean because we're doing straw and everything, so we always pick everything up, and always paddock selection. I won't put a hay crop on a hilly paddock that we know that's stony. Generally they're kept to the flatter paddocks.
And we're talking there also about using planting a crop but having options available for you later, either taking it to grain or hay or what you're going to do there depending on the season. Can you explain a little bit more of that for us too?
Well, it's supply and demand, isn't it? So I always try and finish a season with my hay sheds full and then the rest will go to grain. So if it's a dry year and we know we can sell the hay, we'll make sure all our sheds are full and we may even do a little bit extra if it's that way. But if grain prices are good, well, we have that alternative to put the header in the paddock and take the grain instead. So it just gives you that bit more of an option. Yeah.
spread your risks a bit more.
Try to.
And you've had I've come through some very dry area in that northern New South Wales coming down here. But you fellas here seem to have had a good start. Can you tell us where you are up to and how much you got planted so far and where you're going from here?
So we were lucky in February. We got 120 mil of rain, and that sort of set our profile up because we were quite dry before that. And then it's been dry since, but we've been lucky in the last few days to receive 20 mil. Currently, I've got my canola in the ground. There's 300 hectares of that in, and we're currently sowing our hay crops, being vetch and oats, and then we've got an oats clover blend we're going to do, and then we'll go on to our straight oats, and then move on into our wheats and barleys after that. So, yeah, at the moment, things are set up pretty well if we can keep getting the follow-up rains.
So you've got, a few weeks ahead of you?
Oh, easy. Yeah, no, we've got the 2 seeders, so we can get across it pretty quick, but, yeah, it all takes time you get it done. Yeah, and end of the day, it is only early May, so last year we didn't plant our hay crop till the second week of June, so we're a good month in front of last year.
So you're not concerned too much with frost in the late season?
Oh, well, a neighbour told me here that you really can't plant for a frost. You try, you push your wheat crops back a bit to try and get out of that zone at the end of the season, but generally the frost that does the damage is the one that's out of the book. It's not the group of frosts. It's normally that one off that'll do the damage at flowering.
Yep, no, totally agree with that. We, exactly the same up in northern New South Wales. That our agronomists used to always say that if you around that 10% damage on a frost is where you should be, really, because your yield will make up for it, or the planting dates will make up for that 10%.
That's right, yeah.
With Feed Central's LocalAg, you can connect with farmers and suppliers across Australia, increasing your market and ensuring you get the best deals wherever you are. List your machinery, livestock, feed and more for free. And take advantage of LocalAg's safe and secure payment system, CheckVault, to ensure all of your transactions are protected. Feed Central's LocalAg is providing Australian farmers with trusted connections and transparent trading.
So let's go back to last season. How did that go for you with your hay production?
Very well. We were, again, lucky. Things were looking really tight through the winter, and then we received, I think it was a good 50 mil of rain, would have been August, and it took a crop that was 6 or 8 inches high up to 1 metre high, and the oats and vetch just took off, and our yields were really good.
And you got some really lovely quality too, if I remember right.
Yeah, again, the gods shined on us. We were able to cut it and get it into a bale, no rain or anything. Yeah, and short curing time, like they were good drying days. It was quite windy, which helped, but yeah.
And going on to your marketing side, how do you do your marketing? You'd have some regular customers that you look after every year, and then the rest of it, how do you do that?
So we have our local ones. They're mostly people who buy our straw. Our hay we do through LocalAg and Feed Central. That gets us out away from our local area. It's a good platform to get your product out there.
So you do a bit through LocalAg and LocalAg Plus. Can you tell us what your advantages are on either one?
So this is my first year of using LocalAg. I've liked it because of the customer interaction. You can talk to the person who's buying the hay a bit more. And we have our own trucks, so we do the freight, so it's good because we get the whole process of paddock to person, finish the job sort of thing. So we get that, really personal side of it, and that's part of what you do it for, is to know that you've helped someone out with the hay, and it gets us into a lot of different areas as well. Up in the New England, like we wouldn't normally go into the New England. So you sort of get up there and meet new people.
And but you still have that surety of getting paid. So that's
exactly. That's the big thing. It's the money's there before you take it. It's that's the most important part of hay work, is getting paid.
Yeah, you miss that one load. If you don't get paid even for one load, it's a big hit.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, well, the cost in producing it now, it costs a lot to put it in a bale, so you need to have that assurity there.
Yeah. And so just going back to some of the equipment, yeah, you do your own trucks, you do your own carting and that, which makes it work really well for you on LocalAg. Can you also just tell us, so what size baler have you got? You've got an 8x4x3 baler. Can you tell us about what you've got?
Yep, so we start with the mower. We've got the Massey Ferguson razor bar, so it's got the double crimp, so it's two sets of rollers. So we get a really good crimp there, and then we've just purchased an Elho roller bar rake. It's a big, heavy, robust rake, so we can then gather that. We can bring the two rows together, bring some nice uniform row. We don't end up with any lumps or anything in it. And actually this year, last season, the rows were that big, I had to tow a canola roller to actually push the row down. So then the balers, we've got two balers. We run a Case HD, and we've got the old Massey 2270 XD that I've always had the Masseys.
So you moved away from the Massey to the Case for the new one? Any reason?
Well, the HD straw, we require density, and the HD gives us a bit of that. The Massey's very simple, easy to maintain. The Case is a very good baler.
What sort of weight are you getting in with those straws with the Case?
The Case will be a good 30 or 40 kilos per bale heavier. It's a longer chamber, which helps a lot.
And what's that getting up to, the 550, 500?
Look, our straw job into Sydney, they only require it at 530, so we can get it to 530. The Massey will only get it to sort of your 480, 490 on a good night. But with our hay job, it helps because we can get the density right, get the weights right, and you get your bigger window in your baling. You can go start a bit earlier and finish a bit later, just for the longer chamber and the better density.
So just looking at the local issues we're facing at the moment with with all these things going on with fuel prices and everything like that, and fertiliser prices, have you changed anything in your rotation this year to work in with that a bit more to ease the pain?
No, I haven't. I'm a bit of a stickler for having a rotation and sticking with it, because what aspects are affecting you at the start of the season won't always affect you at the end. You just don't know where the year's going to take you. And if I go and change things this year, will it muddle up next year? So if I stick to the same thing year in, year out, it should work itself out over a 10-year period.
Yeah, you've spread your risks enough with everything else that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket there.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's why we have the straw, the trucks. It's a lot of stuff to keep going, but it averages itself out very well.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Lovely to catch up with you again, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, LocalAg.
Tim Ford here again, and thanks to Steve for another great podcast. Don't forget you can follow the show in your podcast app, or leave us a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and share this episode with a friend. This podcast is hosted by Steve Page, presented by Feed Central, and sponsored by LocalAg Marketplace. The producer is Cara Stewart. The audio editor is Alan Ronalds-Keane. The music is by Pianio.